Good afternoon, everybody. This is the prophetic word for the day. Let's look at 1 Samuel 3, verse 2 to 4, 2 Peter 2, 7 to 9, and then Acts 16, 26 to 30. 1 Samuel 3, verse 2 says, "And it came to pass at that time, while Eli was lying down in his place, and when his eyes had begun to grow so dim that he could not see, and before the lamp of God went out in the tabernacle of the Lord where the ark of God was, and while Samuel was lying down, that the Lord called Samuel." Many times the Lord will call us in a very inconspicuous way, a very private way. Many people want to look at a calling as being something theatric, dramatic, romantic, something charismatic. But there is a purpose for the humility. There's a purpose for the inconspicuousness of the situation, because God is going to do something else. Check this out again. "And it came to pass at that time, while Eli was lying down in his place," you can tell by this verse that he's a very old man, "and when his eyes had begun to grow so dim that he could not see," so he was laying down, ready to fall asleep, or sleeping in the middle of the night, he's blind, "and before the lamp of God went out in the tabernacle of the Lord where the ark of God was, and while Samuel was lying down." So these are things that are non-charismatic, non-romantic, not that exciting. It's just something that you find everybody doing at that particular time, laying on their bed, either ready to go to sleep or sleeping. And God calls Samuel. But the one thing to address in this situation is Eli, his eyes had grown dim, and before the lamp of God went out in the tabernacle of the Lord where the ark of God was, and while Samuel was lying down. So the lamp of God was about to go out, and that was Eli's job as a part of his duties as the priest in the tabernacle. It was his responsibility to keep that lamp burning, and it was about to go out. So there was a displeasing and a disobedient place from God's perspective. And God will call us in the midst of that. Someone else may be in that place, and we are either near there or somehow associated, or we know about that situation, and that's when God decides to call us. And again, like I said earlier, there's a reason for that. The reason is deliverance. The calling upon our lives correlates sometimes with deliverance, being set free from something. 2 Peter 2, 7 to 9 says, "And delivered righteous Lot, who was oppressed by the filthy conduct of the wicked. For that righteous man, dwelling among them, tormented his righteous soul from day to day by seeing and hearing their lawless deeds. Then the Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust under punishment for the day of judgment." Calling is connected to deliverance, deliverance, or rescuing, a rescuing situation. Many people are praying about what their purpose is in life, and God is saying that your calling correlates with your deliverance. And if it's not from a particular situation, it's from a particular sin. And many times we think that we're unfit for any of those things. We have to go do what we need to do a lot of ways in order for God to call us to do anything. And the Lord wants us, He's waiting for that perfect, inconspicuous, humble moment to do so. In a world where even many in the church would say that God calls mostly charismatically and romantically, with fireworks and all of that, this situation was a very unfavoring situation where God called Samuel. And Samuel was actually like a boy too, like 12 years old at that time. So 2 Peter talks about that. "Delivered righteous Lot, who was oppressed by the filthy conduct of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them tormented his righteous soul from day to day by seeing and hearing their lawless deeds." Then the Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation, to reserve the unjust under punishment for the day of judgment. There's another reason why God calls in that way. The first way is for salvation. Salvation is connected, or deliverance is connected to the calling. But also for your deliverance, for the person called to do what God calls them to do. But check out Acts 16, 26 to 30. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison were shaken. And immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's chains were loosed. And the keeper of the prison, awakening from sleep and seeing the prison doors open, supposed the prisoners had fled, drew his sword and was about to kill himself. But Paul called with a loud voice, saying, "Do yourself no harm, for we are all here." Then he called for a light, ran in, fell down trembling before Paul and Silas, and he brought them out and said, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" Oftentimes, many times, most of the time, our calling begins and is connected with deliverance of ourselves and also the salvation of someone else or a group. So that's the reason why God does what he does. And he wants the listener of this video to understand that he has a reason for everything he does. We are not to lean on our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge him through his word, and he will direct our paths. God bless you. Have a great day.